fellow seekers of wisdom. Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into life-changing philosophies that can transform your everyday existence. Today, we're tackling a topic that's more relevant than ever in our chaotic, fast-paced world: Stoicism. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Great, another lecture on ancient philosophy," hear me out. What if I told you that there's a way to navigate life's ups and downs with unshakable calm? A method to face adversity head-on without losing your cool? That's exactly what we're exploring today with our theme, Act as if nothing bothers you. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. We live in a world that seems designed to push our buttons. From minor annoyances, like traffic jams and spilled coffee, to major crises like job loss or relationship breakdowns. Life constantly tests our patience and resilience. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, stressed, and at the mercy of external events. Sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. Millions of people struggle daily with anxiety, frustration, and a sense of powerlessness in the face of life's challenges. But what if I told you that there's a time-tested philosophy that can help you regain control and find inner peace, regardless of what's happening around you? That's where Stoicism comes in. This ancient Greek and Roman philosophy isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. Instead, it's about developing mental resilience, focusing on what you can control, and finding serenity in the midst of chaos. Today, we're going to explore 11 key principles of Stoicism that can help you cultivate the mindset of acting as if nothing bothers you. But before we dive in, I want you to do something for me. If you're ready to embark on this journey of mental fortitude and inner peace, type amor fati in the comments below. This Latin phrase, meaning love of fate, perfectly captures the spirit of our discussion today. It's about embracing everything that happens to you, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. All right, let's get started with our first principle. Lesson 1. The dichotomy of control. At the heart of Stoicism lies a simple yet powerful idea. Some things are within our control, and some aren't. The key to inner peace is focusing our energy on what we can influence and accepting what we can't. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself, which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control." Think about it. How much time do we waste stressing over things we can't change? The weather, other people's opinions, the past, these are all beyond our control. But our thoughts, actions, and reactions, those are entirely up to us. By shifting our focus to what we can control, we free ourselves from unnecessary frustration and anxiety. The next time you feel bothered by something, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, practice letting it go. If it is, channel your energy into positive action. Lesson 2. Negative visualization. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. Stoics practiced something called negative visualization, imagining worst-case scenarios to appreciate what they have and prepare for potential challenges. Seneca, another prominent Stoic, advised, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" By regularly contemplating what could go wrong, you achieve two things. First, you cultivate gratitude for your current circumstances. Second, you mentally prepare yourself for adversity, making it less likely to be rattled when challenges do arise. Try this once a week. Spend a few minutes imagining losing something you value: your job, your home, or a relationship. Then, snap back to reality and appreciate what you have. You'll find that little annoyances bother you less when you've contemplated more significant losses. Lesson 3. The view from above. Stoics practiced an exercise called the view from above, where they imagined looking down on their lives from a great height. This cosmic perspective helps put our problems in context. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote, "You can rid yourself of many useless things among those that disturb you, for they lie entirely in your imagination, and you will then gain for yourself ample space by comprehending the whole universe in your mind and by contemplating the eternity of time and observing the rapid change of every part of everything. How short is the time from birth to dissolution, and the illimitable time before birth, as well as the equally boundless time after death." Dissolution. When you're feeling bothered by something, try zooming out. Imagine viewing your problem from the perspective of your city, your country, the planet, or even the cosmos. Suddenly, that argument with your colleague or that dent in your car doesn't seem so significant, does it? Lesson 4. Voluntary discomfort. Stoics believed in deliberately practicing discomfort to build resilience. By voluntarily exposing ourselves to inconveniences or hardships, we toughen ourselves against future challenges. Musonius Rufus, often called the Roman Socrates, said, "We should not avoid discomforts or inconveniences. Rather, we should stay with them voluntarily in order to toughen or condition ourselves." This doesn't mean you need to make yourself miserable. Start small. Take a cold shower, skip a meal, or sleep on the floor for a night. By embracing these minor discomforts, you're training your mind to stay calm in the face of larger inconveniences. Lesson 5. Amor fati, love your fate. Remember the phrase I asked you to type in the comments. Amor fati is a central tenet of Stoicism. It's about not just accepting what happens to you, but loving it, seeing every event, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth and learning. Epictetus beautifully captured this idea when he said, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." This doesn't mean being passive or fatalistic. Instead, it's about embracing reality as it is, rather than as you wish it to be. When faced with a challenge, instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective can transform obstacles into opportunities. Lesson 6. Memento mori. Remember you will die. Okay, this one might sound a bit morbid, but stay with me. Memento mori, remember you will die, was a powerful Stoic practice. By keeping our mortality in mind, we prioritize what truly matters and avoid getting caught up in trivial concerns. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't about being gloomy or pessimistic. It's about living with intention and perspective. When you remember that your time is finite, you're less likely to waste it on petty grievances or pointless worries. Instead, you focus on what truly matters: your relationships, your personal growth, your contribution to the world. Lesson 7. The Reserve Clause. Stoics believed in pursuing their goals with enthusiasm, but always with a reserve clause. the understanding that the outcome is not entirely in their control. Epictetus advised, when you are going about any action, remind yourself what nature the action is. If you are going to bathe, picture to yourself the things which usually happen in the bath. Some people splash the water, some push, some use abusive language, and others steal. Thus, you will more safely go about this action if you say to yourself, I will now go bathe and keep my own mind in a state conformable to nature. And in the same manner with regard to every other action. This principle teaches us to do our best while accepting that the final result may not be what we hoped for. By adding the reserve clause, fate permitting to our plans and actions, we protect ourselves from disappointment and frustration when things don't go our way. Lesson 8. It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. This principle is at the core of Stoic psychology. The Stoics believed that our emotions are not caused by external events, but by our interpretations of those events. As Epictetus famously said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This idea is incredibly empowering. It means that no person or external circumstance has the power to make you feel a certain way without your consent. You always have the choice in how you interpret and respond to events. Next time something bothers you, pause and examine your judgment about the situation. Is there another way to look at it? Could this apparent setback actually be an opportunity in disguise? Lesson 9. Be content with what you have. Stoicism teaches us to find happiness not in external possessions or circumstances, but in our own virtue and inner peace. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient for he that is so wants nothing." This doesn't mean we shouldn't strive for improvement or pursue goals, but it does mean learning to be content with our current situation while working towards something better. When we're constantly chasing the next thing, believing it will finally make us happy, we set ourselves up for perpetual dissatisfaction. Practice gratitude daily. Appreciate what you have: your health, your relationships, your opportunities. You'll find that when you're grateful for what you have, you're less likely to be bothered by what you don't have. Lesson 10. Focus on your character. For Stoics, the ultimate goal wasn't wealth, fame, or pleasure. It was developing a virtuous character. They believed that true happiness comes from living in accordance with virtue. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This principle teaches us to focus on our own actions and character rather than getting caught up in judging others or worrying about their opinions of us. When faced with a difficult situation, ask yourself, what would a person of good character do in this situation? Then strive to act accordingly. Lesson 11. Practice mindfulness. While not explicitly called mindfulness by the ancient Stoics, many of their practices align closely with what we now call mindfulness meditation. Epictetus advised, remember, it is not enough to be hit or insulted to be harmed. You must believe that you are being harmed. If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. This principle encourages us to be aware of our thoughts and reactions in the present moment. By cultivating this awareness, we can catch ourselves before we react impulsively to perceived slights or annoyances. Try this throughout your day. Take brief pauses to check in with yourself. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? Are you getting caught up in judgments or reactions? This simple practice can help you maintain your calm and perspective, even in challenging situations. And there you have it, folks, 11 powerful principles of Stoicism to help you act as if nothing bothers you. But remember, this isn't about becoming an emotionless robot. It's about developing the mental resilience to navigate life's challenges with grace and equanimity. Let's recap. 1. Focus on what you can control. 2. Practice negative visualization. 3. Gain perspective with the view from above. 4. Build resilience through voluntary discomfort. 5. Love your fate, amor fati. 6. Remember your mortality, memento mori. 7. Use the reserve clause. 8. Recognize that your judgments, not external events, upset you. 9. Be content with what you have. 10. Focus on developing your character. 11. Practice mindfulness. Incorporating these principles into your life won't happen overnight. It's a practice, a lifelong journey. But with consistent effort, you can develop a Stoic mindset that will serve you well in all areas of your life. Remember, the goal isn't to never feel bothered. It's to develop the strength and wisdom to handle whatever life throws at you with calm and courage. So, the next time you feel yourself getting worked up over something, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would a Stoic do? You might be surprised at how quickly you can regain your equilibrium. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Which of these principles resonated with you the most? How do you think you can apply Stoic wisdom in your daily life? And don't forget to type amor fati in the comments if you're ready to embrace this philosophy of mental resilience and inner peace. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and remember, it's all about how you perceive and respond to life's challenges. Peace out.